Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on the 3D Critic channel. I am David, your host, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a comparison between the New Balance 2-Way V4s to the Fresh Foam BBs. Today's video is brought to you by Dr. Squatch. Dr. Squatch is a personal care brand based in the USA and it focuses on products for men's hygiene with 100% natural ingredients. And they're very well known for their scented bars of soap like Rainforest Rapids and Fresh Falls, which is my personal favorite, among a bunch of other scents that you can choose from. And smell and feel absolutely amazing every time I use them. And they also do collaborations with movie franchises such as The Avengers, which has its own variety of scents, and Harry Potter, which has its own variety of scents as well. And it doesn't stop at soap. They also have shampoo, they also have a wide range of scented deodorants, cologne, and so much more. So if you want to start smelling like a real man, hit the link on the top of the description and use the code on the bottom of the screen to save $10 off of your purchase of $20 or more. Once again, I'd like to thank Dr. Squatch for sponsoring today's video. Enjoy the rest of the video. Now, when it comes to the price, the 2-Way V4s are going for $120, while the Fresh Foam BBs are going for $130 on New Balance's website right now. So if you guys are interested in either pair, I will leave links in the description box below. So starting off with the traction on the 2-Way V4s, you're going to get a full rubber outsole with this herringbone traction pattern on the lateral side and this hexagonal radial pattern on the medial side, and it switches when you get to the heel of the shoe. And when it comes to the Fresh Foam BBs, you're going to get a full-length rubber outsole as well with a bunch of circles that have circles within them, and it gives it this multi-directional radial traction pattern. So when it comes to the performance on a clean court, they both perform extremely well. And when it came to the lateral movements, it was really good going from side to side. Being a primary defender as well, you're able to stay toe-to-toe with whoever you're guarding with. And the changes of direction are ridiculous as well on these. And with vertical stops, the hard stops were really good. You're able to stop on a dime every single time on a clean court. And you're going to get a very quick first step on both of these. They were very similar in that respect when it came to the clean court. In a dusty court, I found the 2-Way V4s to be a little more consistent because with dust, it doesn't really pick up that much and you're able to have consistent grip on a dusty court, while the Fresh Foam BBs, you're going to slide a little bit when you are doing like a handful of plays, but with a quick wipe, you should be good to go and you're going to get really good grip after a handful of plays. Just make sure you consistently wipe them down and you're going to get the best traction out of the Fresh Foam BBs. And when it comes to durability, they're both pretty durable as well. The grooves on the traction patterns are very thick and they will be good to go outdoors in that respect. So regardless of the court condition that you're in, you're going to be good to go. But if I were to choose one or the other, I would pick the 2-Way V4s because it is more consistent when it comes to certain court conditions that you're going to put them in. Now, moving into the cushion on the 2-Way V4s, you're going to get a blend of fuel cell foam in the lateral side of the shoe with Fresh Foam X on the medial side of the shoe in the forefoot, and then it reverses the formulation into the heel. And when you get to the Fresh Foam BBs, you're going to get a full bed of Fresh Foam X foam. And on both shoes, you're going to get a top-loaded TPU midfoot shank plate. Now, in both shoes, the forefoot cushioning feels really similar to each other when it comes to how responsive they are underfoot and how forgiving it is under your foot as well. It is really responsive and you're able to be really quick when you're trying to be really active on the floor and trying to get steals and stuff like that. And it is really bouncy as well. The bounce on both of these shoes are very close to each other. With the top-loaded midfoot shank plates that you have on both of these shoes, it gives you a springboard-like feel, and you're going to generate a lot of air when you're going to get rebounds and trying to block people's shots as well. When it comes to the heel cushioning, it feels slightly more forgiving in the Fresh Foam BBs compared to the two-way V4s, but they're both pretty close when it comes to compression under your foot, and I didn't experience any aching when it came to doing a lot of heel strikes, but I found it to be more forgiving in the Fresh Foam BBs. And when it came to heel-to-toe transitions, both shoes are pretty smooth because they use the same formulation of the Fresh Foam X, while it is slightly quicker in the two-way V4s because it is overall light under your foot compared to the Fresh Foam BBs. And the Fresh Foam BBs, you sit a little higher compared to the two-way V4s, doing a side-to-side comparison between the two. But overall, I would pick either shoe any time of the day. If you want quicker responsive cushioning, I would go with the two-way V4s because of how light and how quick you feel in these. But if you want more impact protection in the heel, I would go with the Fresh Foam BBs. So either or, you can't go wrong with either shoe. Just be mindful of that. The forefoot cushioning is slightly better in the two-way V4s, and the heel cushioning is slightly better in the Fresh Foam BBs. Now, moving into the materials on the two-way V4s, you're going to get a nice engineered mesh material on the forefoot as well as on the medial side of the shoe, with some glossy fuse overlays on the medial as well as on the lateral side of the shoe. And when you move along to the midfoot, you're going to get this fuse overlaid material, and the tongue itself is nicely padded and made up of mesh as well. And when you get to the back, you're going to get this molded ankle collar in the heel and some synthetic leather here as well. And moving on to the Fresh Foam BBs, you're going to get a tightly woven mesh upper called Fit Weave on the lateral, forefoot, and medial side of the shoe, with some synthetic overlays on the toe guard as well as these two strands on the forefoot. And when you move along to the tongue, you're going to get a padded mesh tongue with a suede material on the top of the tongue. And when you get to the back, you're going to get the same suede material in the heel with a plastic heel cup, and inside you should be able to see two small ankle pillows as well. So when it comes to materials, overall they're both pretty comfortable for the most part. When it comes to the overall flexibility in the forefoot as well as in the midfoot, you are not going to experience any pinching when it comes to flexing on your foot, and the heel is nice and comfortable as well, and you won't have any discomfort in the heel. But when it comes to the overall quality and which is more comfortable overall, I would pick the two-way V4s because the mesh material itself is nicer under your foot as well as the mesh tongue. There's slightly more padding in the two-way V4s compared to the Fresh Foam BBs, and the molded heel collar here as well has some really nice padding in the ankle as well, while in the Fresh Foam BBs there is some padding but not as much as the two-way V4s overall. And aesthetically, the two-way V4s look better than the Fresh Foam BBs in my opinion. So overall, you can't go wrong with either shoe when it comes to performance figures. But if you're looking for overall nice comfort and nice materials, I would pick the two-way V4s over the Fresh Foam BBs. So when it came to the fit on the two-way V4s, I found the width to be nice and snug on your foot, while there was a little bit of dead space in the toe box because it runs long overall. And then the Fresh Foam BBs, it was very roomy overall, and there was a good bit of dead space in the toe box, and the width as well, there was a little bit of wiggle room in that respect. So for the two-way V4s, I would go true to size, and for the Fresh Foam BBs, I would go down half a size because of the roominess under your foot. And if you are a narrow footer, I'll probably go down half a size in the two-way V4s, while in the Fresh Foam BBs, I'll probably go down a full size. And if you're a wide footer in the two-way V4s, go true to size, but make sure you choose the wide variety because they have wide options available for the two-way V4s. While in the Fresh Foam BBs, I'll probably go true to size because of the roominess of the forefoot that you're going to get in general. But overall, at the end of the day, I would pick the fit from the two-way V4s over the Fresh Foam BBs. Now moving into the lockdown, starting with the two-way V4s, you're going to get really good lockdown when it comes to the width of the shoe being really snug, and you won't experience any movement in the shoe, especially with lateral movements. However, since there is a little bit of dead space in the toe box, you will slide a little bit but not hit the toe box in general. So I found the forefoot lockdown to be decent overall. When you get to the midfoot, there's a basic lacing system here that you have that harnesses the midfoot into place. That way you won't move around in the midfoot. And when you get to the heel, it is nicely padded and hunkers down really well with the lacing system that goes all the way up to the ankle collar. And as a result, you won't get any heel slippage, and the heel lockdown is pretty good. And moving into the Fresh Foam BBs, the forefoot lockdown isn't overall that great because of how spacious it is in the forefoot, and you will slide around a little bit laterally as well as vertically. However, when you get to the midfoot, the lacing system is basic, but it gets the job done overall, and it hunkers down the midfoot into place. That way it won't move around at all inside the midfoot. And when you get to the back of the heel, it harnesses pretty well because it has this ankle collar here that helps wrap the overall ankle. That way you won't experience any heel sliding as well. And the overall heel lockdown was pretty good overall. And the overall heel lockdown as well as the midfoot lockdown was really harnessed into place, while it felt like the forefoot lockdown was really floating overall. So that was the only downside of the lockdown when it comes to the Fresh Foam BBs. So overall, the lockdown is pretty similar when it comes to the heel and the midfoot. The only downside is in the Fresh Foam BBs, there is a little bit of roominess in the forefoot, and you will slide around a little bit compared to the two-way V4s where you slide only laterally but not that much, and the width overall is pretty snug. That way you won't move laterally as well. So when it comes to overall lockdown, I'll give it to the two-way V4s. And lastly, when it comes to support, both shoes have nice flat bases. That way you are stable under your own 2 feet. However, when you compare them to each other, you can see that the base itself is slightly wider when it comes to the two-way V4s. So you're going to have a wider base and a much stable ride when it comes to the two-way V4 over the Fresh Foam BBs. And when it comes to lateral support in the two-way V4s, you're going to get a protruding outrigger, and the midsole bulges outward. That way you're going to get extra lateral stability. And the glossy fuse overlay here helps the material be more supportive on your foot. That way the material itself won't cave in on you when you're doing lateral movements. When you move into the Fresh Foam BBs, when it comes to lateral support, you're going to get a midsole bulge, but not necessarily an outrigger. It just flattens out when it comes to the midsole itself. And inside the shoe, you're going to sit inside the midsole a little bit with this lip right here. That helps with the overall lateral support. And the material itself is tightly enough that way it doesn't give out on you when you're doing lateral movements as well. And when it comes to overall stability and torsional support, both shoes have internal TPU midfoot shank plates as well. That helps with the overall stability inside the shoe. And when you get to the heel, both shoes have standard internal TPU heel counters that help prevent the heel from moving side to side inside the shoe. So when it comes to overall support, both shoes are really stable under your foot, and the torsional support because of that was really nice in that respect. Didn't have any instabilities when it came to each shoe. However, when it comes to lateral support, I found it to be better on the two-way V4s compared to the Fresh Foam BBs. In the two-way V4s, the protruding outrigger as well as the midsole bulge, along with the supportive material fused with the glossy fuse overlay right here, helps it be really supportive when it comes to lateral movements compared to the Fresh Foam BBs, where I did experience a few ankle tweaks a few times actually during one session. So it suffers a little bit when it comes to overall lateral support, and due to the wider base that you get in the two-way V4s compared to the Fresh Foam BBs, it helps the overall stabilization under your foot be really solid in the two-way V4s compared to the Fresh Foam BBs. So if you want a supportive, stable shoe, I would pick the two-way V4s over the Fresh Foam BBs. So overall, both shoes are really good in my opinion, but if I were to choose one or the other, I would pick the two-way V4s because the traction overall is pretty consistent regardless of the court condition that you're going to be in. And the cushion itself is really nice and really responsive while being really comforting under your foot. And I find it a tad quicker to the Fresh Foam BBs as well. And the materials in the two-way V4s are better in the Fresh Foam BBs in my opinion, as well as the overall fit, lockdown, and support as well due to the wide base that it has. It gave me a really supportive feel under my foot and I was really stable at all times. I didn't experience any ankle rolls because of that compared to the Fresh Foam BBs where I did tweak my ankle a few times in that respect. So overall, I picked the two-way V4s over the Fresh Foam BBs. But the Fresh Foam BB is still a good shoe regardless because the cushioning is really nice and really responsive in its own right and being very comfortable, especially with the heel cushioning that it has. It is very nice and it was very surprising compared to the two-way V4s as well. So you can't go wrong with either shoe, but I would choose the two-way V4s. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if this helped you in any way, choose between the two-way V4s and the Fresh Foam BBs. And feel free to share your experiences down below if you had either of these and which one you would prefer for yourselves, along with any questions that you might have in the comment section down below. And if you would like to stay in touch with our future videos that I'll be posting, as well as the reviews of these shoes as well, I will leave links on the top corners of the screen right here if you guys are interested in that, and it'll greatly support my channel as well if you subscribe down below. And if you'd like to stay in touch with me via social media, I will leave all of that information in the description box below as well. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. I hope this was beneficial to you guys on choosing between the two-way V4s and Fresh Foam BBs by New Balance. And until next time, keep shooting.